Hello everybody, same feed is back. I've been doing a lot of thinking and meditating on the Mandela Effect over the past 2 months. Actually, about 4 months, 3 months. And there's a group I have on Facebook called the Mandela Effect Research Committee. You are all welcome to join and come take place in our discussions and our research. And we also have a page, our sister page of our group is the Mandela Effect Reality Residue page on Facebook. And if you ever want to see the evidence that your memories are correct, you can go to that page and look at all the evidence we're collecting that shows the residue of our past reality. This video today is about the movie Jaws, starring Roy Scheider. He played the police chief, Martin Brody, new guy in town, scared of the water. Then you had Richard Dreyfuss. He played Matt Hoopa. Hoopa! And he is an oceanographer that was sent to town to help the police chief with his shark problem. And of course we have the great Robert Shaw playing Quint, and he is the shark hunter that they hired to hunt and kill Jaws with. And right away I just want to let you know what the glitch is in Jaws. And it's when Police Chief Brody is splashing some chum in the water, and Jaws makes his first real appearance and pops out of the water at Chief Brody. And the chief backs up with horror in his eye, and you got that great zoom out technique on his face. And he backs up to Quint, and he says to Quint, "We're going to need a bigger boat." Now in our new reality, after the glitches have occurred, Chief Brody says to Quint, "You're going to need a bigger boat." So it switched from "we're going to need a bigger boat" to "you're going to need a bigger boat." And I have to go into a little bit right now about how well I knew the movie Jaws. And I know there's many out there that have watched this movie 30, 40 times. And I have as well, 40, 50, perhaps 60 times. My favorite movie. And I love every scene, every character. I like every line of dialogue in the movie. And I have kind of a personal connection to Jaws I can't really talk about. But let's just say that I've studied it as much as I've watched it. And by studying I mean meditated and thought about each scene, and it's in a comical thing that I'm doing. I kind of want to turn this into a comedy, but I've really thought about Jaws and how I would make changes to the movie if I was going to turn it into a comedy. For instance, the line, "We're going to need a bigger boat." In my comedy, the chief says, "We're going to need more chum." I've thought about every scene this way. How can I make it funny? And that might be funny to you. I hope it is. I got kind of a tongue-in-cheek humor, so that might not be funny to you. So anyways, the glitch, right away when I saw that it says, "You're going to need a bigger boat," I immediately knew that was a glitch. That was not part of my old reality. And I want to talk in this video about why that's impossible. Why it's impossible that Chief Brody said that to Quint. "You're going to need a bigger boat." And we have to go back to when the chief is hiring Quint. And I don't know Quint's ideas on how he was going to tackle this shark by himself, but he argued quite long and hard that the chief was not welcome on his boat. Well, the chief finally said, "I'm paying for it." I think, what was it, 10 or 15,000 or something? I can't remember. He said, I'm paying for this, so you're going to let me on your boat." And Quint said, all right. Yeah. Well, Richard Dreyfuss's character Hooper had a much more difficult time getting onto Quint's boat than Chief Brody. And you can all remember the "let me see your hands" scene. I don't have to put up with this. and tie me this knot, and you're not going to come on my boat. Well, he had to fight twice as hard as the chief to get on this boat. And after Chief Brody sees the shark and says, we're going to need a bigger boat, he's pot committed at this time to this trip, to this journey in his life. And by pot committed, that means if you're playing poker, you got so much money in the pot that you can't just fold. You have to see it out. Even if you lose, a quarter more of your money or all of it, or have to go all in or something, or match the all in, you're so pot committed with all your money in the pot already that you have to see it through. And these guys were pot committed. They fought their way onto the boat, and the police chief was conquering his fear of the water as well. So this story's about that too. And the oceanographer, Hooper, if you think you can drag him off of this expedition hunting this great white shark, if you're the chief, there's no way. I mean, he knows that Hooper's not, even if he abandons both of them, Hooper's going to stay on the boat, on the bigger boat, and say if they went back. But by saying, you're going to need a bigger boat, Chief Brody's abandoning Quint, and he's abandoning Hooper. You're going to need a bigger boat. Take me back, get me a bigger boat, and you guys have fun getting that shark. I'm not going to be along with you. You're going to need a bigger boat. Nope. And we know by part 2 of Jaws that Police Brody fights the shark in that one too. So he's not scared. He's not scared, and he's not going to back down. This is a story about the chief as much as it is about the shark. And we know by part 2, and I think in part 3, 3D, doesn't his wife, the shark chase his wife down? My biology teacher in high school said, Jaws 3 is so fake, no animal would ever seek revenge. And well, he does in Jaws 3. But like I said, we're going to need a bigger boat. The chief says, and if you watch Jaws, of course they're going to need a bigger boat. And the chief knows this, and Quint probably knows this. But Quint is too much of a man, too much of a shark. I ain't going to let any shark take my boat from me. He's not scared of this shark at any point in this. Well, maybe towards the end he's a little scared, but he's not scared of him. He's not going to go get a bigger boat. And Dreyfus, he never says anything about it. Dreyfus trusts Quint on this, probably. And if he did speak out about wanting a bigger boat, Quint would probably, let him have it. So, Police Chief Brody's never been on the water, never been in hunting sharks, and he thinks they're going to need a bigger boat. And if you look and watch the movie, of course, if they had a bigger boat, they would have killed Jaws, and they would have been able to bring his body back and show everybody. But why didn't they just keep pumping? They still had like 6 of those barrels, or 5 or 4 of those barrels on the boat. Keep pumping them up with those barrels, and let them die. Let Jaws die that way. Just pump them full of those barrels. Maybe 8 of them. Do they have 9? Hey, if you guys see yellow barrels near offshore, come in from the water. That's Jaws. That's the way I would have done it if I was in that movie. But we're going to need a bigger boat. And by, like I said, by Jaws 2, that police chief's not scared of these guys anymore. He's a shark hunter. He's a giant shark hunter. He's not going to abandon Dreyfus and Robert Shaw to the shark after they get a new boat. You're going to need a bigger boat. No, we're going to need a bigger boat. And that's what it used to be. And if I was Roy Scheider and they told me, okay, here's your next line, you're going to say, you're going to need a bigger boat. As an actor and as a man, I'd say, no. That's an abandonment line. We're a team. We showed off our scars and sang songs together. We're a team, and that's what these guys become. They become a team. Maybe not a very effective one, and that's because they underestimated Jaws. And Roy Scheider didn't underestimate Jaws. He knew they'd need a bigger boat. But to end my video, this is definitely a glitch in our matrix. And one last thing is the memes. If you go and search, "we're going to need a bigger boat" memes or Jaws memes on Google, well, guess what everyone uses? "We're going to need a bigger boat." And of course, there's those odd memes that say "you're going to need a bigger boat" mixed in with, they're the minority on this subject. But all the memes, because people that make memes know the correct line. That's why the memes say that. And to end this, come and join up with us in the Mandela Effect Research Committee group, private group, closed group. What we talk about there, your family and friends can't see. That's all private, and you can't share out of that group or anything. And of course, if you want to go see some of the evidence we're collecting in that group and the things we're doing, go to the Facebook page, Mandela Effect Reality Residue. Hope to see you guys there. And to my little friend Haley, that's online making Mandela Effect videos. I don't know how old she is, 9 or 10, this young girl. I'm so proud of you, Haley. You know, and I've seen people talk about their friends' daughters are in high school, and that's all they're talking about in this high school is the Mandela Effect. And this young girl, Haley's making videos, and she may not have been correct about all of them, but I'm not going to criticize her videos. This little girl's trying to get out the truth to the world, and I really appreciate that, Haley. You're awesome. Take care, everybody. I'll probably make another video coming up here quick about the gigantic amount of things that we're discovering about the reality residue we're scraping up and finding. Peace, everybody.